Ever heard of a crab that can crack coconuts with its bare claws? Not just crack them, crush them. Imagine a creature, a giant, scuttling out from the jungle in the dead of night. It's bigger than any crab you've ever seen, maybe even bigger than you. This isn't science fiction, folks. This is the coconut crab, and it's about to become your worst nightmare. But wait, there's more. Picture this. You're alone on a tropical island, the soft sounds of the ocean in the distance, when suddenly you hear a rustling in the underbrush. Out emerges a colossal crustacean, its pincers gleaming ominously in the moonlight. This is Crabzilla, a creature so fearsome that it has long been the stuff of legend and local lore. And if you think these stories are just tales to scare children, think again. Because nightmares are real, and they walk, or rather scuttle, among us. These creatures are not just a figment of our imagination. They are very much real, and they are very much a force to be reckoned with. So buckle up, because we're about to dive deep into the world of the coconut crab, where the line between myth and reality blurs, and fear takes on a whole new meaning. We're talking about a real-life monster crab. They're called coconut crabs, robber crabs, even in some parts of the world. These names aren't just for show. These guys are strong enough to rip apart your backpack, your tent, even your flimsy island hut if they get a whiff of something interesting inside. Deep in the Indian Ocean and scattered across the Pacific lie islands untouched by man. Paradise, you might think. But these islands hold a secret, a monstrous secret hidden in broad daylight. This is the domain of the coconut crab. Forget what you know about crabs scuttling sideways on the beach. These giants can grow to over 3 feet long, their claws like something out of a horror movie. They're the largest land-dwelling invertebrates on Earth, and they rule their islands with an iron claw. Imagine yourself trekking through the jungle, the air thick with humidity and the smell of salt spray. The forest floor rustles with unseen life. You hear a snapping sound, a twig breaking under immense weight. You turn, but there's nothing there, just the dappled sunlight and the rustling leaves. Little do you know you're being watched, hunted even. The coconut crab is a master of camouflage, blending seamlessly into its surroundings, and it's got its eye on you. Believe it or not, these behemoths start their lives in the ocean, just like any other crab, tiny, translucent larvae, at the mercy of the currents. But these youngsters carry a secret within them, a blueprint for gigantism. As they grow, they shed their watery cradle and make their way onto land, their bodies transforming to conquer a new world. Their gills adapt, allowing them to breathe air, though they still need access to fresh water to survive. And their exoskeletons harden, becoming the impenetrable armor that makes them the undisputed kings of their domain. Their claws are their most fearsome weapons, capable of exerting over 700 pounds of force. That's enough to crack open a coconut, of course, but also to crush bones. They use these powerful tools to hunt for food, ripping apart coconuts, scavenging for carrion, even preying on other crabs, birds, and rodents. They're opportunistic omnivores, these giants, and nothing is safe from their insatiable appetites. Remember that rustling in the jungle? It could be the wind, sure. Or it could be a coconut crab, scuttling towards you, its claws clicking ominously in the undergrowth. The coconut crab doesn't just rely on brute strength, though. It's also incredibly perceptive. Their sense of smell is legendary, said to be one of the most acute in the animal kingdom. They can sniff out a rotting carcass from miles away, a ripe fruit from the top of a tree, even the faintest whiff of something interesting, like your unattended picnic basket. Think about your own sense of smell. Now imagine it amplified 1,000 times. That's the world the coconut crab lives in. They see the world through scent, a constantly shifting tapestry of aromas. And you, my friend, are just another scent to them. A particularly interesting one if you've got food, sunscreen, or anything else that tickles their olfactory fancy. Forget about bears raiding your campsite. In the coconut crab's domain, it's your scent that makes you the target. Now, you might be thinking, if these guys are so strong, why bother cracking coconuts? Why not just rip them open? Well, here's the thing, even a coconut crab has its limits. Those claws are powerful, but they're not invincible. Cracking a coconut is a delicate operation, a balance of brute force and surprising finesse. They don't just smash them willy-nilly, they've got a technique, a method to their madness. First, they find a weak spot, usually the soft eye of the coconut. Then they use their smaller legs to secure the nut, holding it steady with surprising dexterity. Finally, they go to work with their crusher claw, delivering precise, powerful blows until the outer husk gives way. It's like watching a demolition expert in slow motion, a combination of raw power and calculated precision. And once they've breached that tough exterior, they use their smaller, more nimble claws to pry open the shell and feast on the sweet, milky flesh inside. But coconuts aren't their only source of sustenance. These island giants aren't picky eaters. In fact, they've got a taste for the macabre. Remember that incredible sense of smell? It doesn't just lead them to ripe fruit, it also draws them to the scent of decay, to carcasses, to anything that might offer a protein-rich meal. Think of them as the vultures of the invertebrate world, cleaning up the forest floor, one rotting carcass at a time. They'll scavenge on anything they can get their claws on. Dead birds, fallen fruit, even the remains of other coconut crabs. They're opportunistic omnivores, these guys, and they're not afraid to get their claws dirty. In fact, some scientists believe that this scavenging behavior might be one of the keys to their incredible size. They're not just strong, they're resourceful, making the most of every morsel the island has to offer. Now, you might think that with all this food around, these giant crabs would be content to share. But you'd be wrong. Very wrong. Coconut crabs are fiercely territorial, and when it comes to food, there's no such thing as sharing. In fact, they're more likely to fight over a tasty morsel than share it. Imagine two heavyweight boxers squaring off in the ring. That's what a coconut crab showdown looks like. They rear up on their hind legs, claws snapping, antennae twitching, sizing each other up. The fight might be over in a flash, one crab delivering a decisive blow that sends its opponent scuttling away. Or it could be a protracted battle, claws clashing, bodies slamming together until one crab finally yields. And the winner? They get the spoils of war, of course, that juicy piece of fruit, that rotting carcass, that coveted coconut. In the world of the coconut crab, it's survival of the fittest, and only the strong survive. For centuries, whispers have circulated among those who call these islands home. Stories of strange disappearances, of belongings scattered and torn, of an unsettling feeling of being watched in the night. The islanders knew deep down who was responsible. The coconut crab, with its monstrous size and silent, stealthy approach, has long been a source of both fear and fascination. Old tales speak of these creatures as powerful spirits, capable of stealing away into the night with their treasures or even with small animals or children. While those stories might be embellished through generations, the core truth remains. The coconut crab is not to be underestimated. Their strength is undeniable, and their curiosity, driven by their powerful sense of smell, can lead them to investigate anything that piques their interest, regardless of whether it belongs to a human or not. Some stories, however, are more chilling than others. One such tale, shrouded in mystery and speculation, involves the famed aviator Amelia Earhart. As you know, Earhart disappeared over the Pacific Ocean in 1937, her fate a mystery that has captivated the world for decades. While the official explanation points towards a crash at sea, some researchers propose a different, more unsettling possibility. They believe Earhart may have made an emergency landing on a remote island only to meet a gruesome end at the hands, or rather, the claws, of coconut crabs. The theory is based on evidence found on Nikumaroro Island, a remote atoll in the Pacific. Bones discovered there, initially thought to be human, could have belonged to a large crab, and the location fits with Earhart's projected flight path. While this theory remains unconfirmed, it serves as a chilling reminder of the power and potential danger these creatures possess. This story, though unproven, echoes other, smaller incidents reported over the years. Hikers venturing too far off the beaten path, campers leaving food unsecured, or even residents who underestimate the reach of these cunning creatures have returned to find their belongings disturbed, their food vanished, and sometimes even signs of a struggle. These incidents, while often lacking concrete evidence of a direct attack, serve as a chilling reminder: we are not at the top of the food chain on every island paradise. The coconut crab, with its primal instincts, its raw power, and its insatiable hunger, serves as a stark reminder that nature, even in its most beautiful forms, demands our respect and our caution. We are visitors in their domain, and it's crucial to remember that. Now I know what you're thinking. Bear, you've scared the living daylights out of me. Are you telling me to avoid these islands altogether? No, not at all. These islands are stunning, full of life and beauty, but just like you wouldn't wander into a lion's den without taking precautions, you need to respect the locals here, especially the ones with claws the size of your head. Remember, we're talking about wild animals here. They're not out to get you, but they will defend themselves and their territory if they feel threatened. The key is to avoid surprising them, to make your presence known without being aggressive. Make noise as you walk, stick to marked trails, and for goodness sake, keep your food and scented items secured. Remember that nose? They'll sniff out a banana peel from a mile away. Now, let's say, despite your best efforts, you find yourself face to face with one of these behemoths. Don't panic, I know it's easier said than done, but keeping a cool head is crucial. Remember, these creatures are more likely to retreat than attack, especially if you give them space. Don't make any sudden movements, don't try to touch it, and whatever you do, don't try to pick it up. Instead, slowly back away, keeping your eyes on the crab. Speak in a calm, steady voice. It might sound crazy, but talking to it can actually help. It lets the crab know you're not a threat, and it gives you something to focus on besides your racing heart. Remember, these animals rely heavily on their sense of smell. They're less likely to see you as a threat if you don't smell like fear. Now, if the crab does become aggressive, don't try to outrun it. They might be big, but they're surprisingly fast, and you're not going to win a foot race against something that can climb a tree. Instead, try to put something between you and the crab, a backpack, a log, even a small wall. They're not the most agile creatures, and they can be deterred by obstacles. If you need to, use a stick or a rock to defend yourself, but aim for the claws, not the body. Remember, those claws are their weapons. Disable the claws and you disable the threat. And if all else fails and you absolutely have to escape, remember this: coconut crabs are incredibly strong, but they're not invincible. A well-placed kick to the underside can flip them over, giving you a chance to make a quick getaway. Look, I'm not going to lie, encountering a coconut crab in the wild can be a hair-raising experience, but it doesn't have to be a nightmare. A little knowledge, a healthy dose of respect, and a dash of common sense can go a long way in ensuring a safe and enjoyable experience on these incredible islands. Remember, these creatures are a vital part of the ecosystem, and they deserve our respect, even our admiration from a safe distance, of course. So, next time you find yourself on a tropical island paradise, keep your wits about you, your food secured, and your eyes peeled. And who knows, you might just catch a glimpse of these fascinating creatures, the coconut crabs, the kings of the island, from a safe and respectful distance, of course. So, there you have it. The coconut crab monster, myth, or magnificent marvel of evolution. You've seen their power, their size, their chilling ability to sniff out a meal from miles away. You've heard the stories, the whispers of their nocturnal exploits, the legends that have sprung up around them. But remember, fear isn't the only response these creatures elicit. There's a sense of awe, too, a respect for their tenacity, their resilience, their ability to thrive in some of the harshest environments on Earth. Think back to that tiny larva, adrift in the vastness of the ocean. From those humble beginnings rises a titan, a creature capable of cracking coconuts with its bare claws, of outwitting its prey, of surviving against all odds. The coconut crab is a testament to the power of adaptation, of evolution's ability to craft creatures that defy our expectations, that challenge our understanding of what's possible in the natural world. These creatures aren't just survivors, they're guardians. They play a crucial role in their island ecosystems, controlling rodent populations, cleaning up carrion, even helping to disperse seeds. They're a vital link in a delicate chain, a reminder that even the most fearsome creatures have a place, a purpose in the grand scheme of things. So the next time you hear the name coconut crab, don't just think of nightmares and horror stories. Think of the bigger picture, of the intricate web of life these creatures are a part of. Think of the islands they call home, the pristine beaches, the lush jungles, the delicate balance that these crabs help to maintain. And remember, respect is key. Admire them from a distance, appreciate their role in the natural world, and tread lightly in their domain. Remember that question we started with? Ever heard of a crab that can crack coconuts with its bare claws? Now you have. You've stared into the eyes of the coconut crab, explored its world, understood its power, and you've learned how to survive an encounter, how to walk away with a healthy dose of respect for these incredible creatures. If you enjoyed this journey into the heart of the coconut crab's domain, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more incredible wildlife adventures, and don't forget to share this video with your friends, especially those who love a good scare. Until next time, stay wild, stay curious, and remember, adventure awaits, but always be prepared. You never know what's lurking in the shadows, especially when it comes to creatures like the coconut crab.